Je bent wat je doet. Niet wat je denkt dat je zou moeten doen. Wat we doen. Een radioprogramma dat ingaat op onze drijfveren en het bespreken van taboes. Hoe zou het komen dat we doen wat we doen? Elke vrijdag van 8 tot 9 uur 's avonds met je host Solile Blinker op de Powerstation SRS. Kom gezellig erbij en laat je inspireren. Psst, kom horen. Als mensen twijfelen hoe ver je kan komen, ga dan zo ver totdat je ze niet meer kan horen. Dat zei Michelle Ruiz. Welkom. Ik ben Solile Blinker en vanavond is Wat We Doen een geschenk aan jou in de vorm van motivatie. En omdat motivatie met alles dat een mens tot handelen beweegt te maken heeft, is het een complex onderwerp, waarover vele verschillende theorieën en perspectieven geformuleerd zijn. Ik zou zeggen, stel jezelf open en ontvang deze dosis van motivatie van diverse motivators als adem voor het bestaan.
Just write down those things, 1 or 2 or 3 things that you have to desperately get done before this year ends. It's desperation. I don't have a choice. I don't have an option. You got to get that done. Got it. Like, I just want you. And I'm not talking about stuff that's kind of important. I'm talking about the stuff that has got it. The ball's dropping and you can't keep talking about it. Like, you will not be able to rest. You didn't get this done. I want you to write that down. I want you to write that. That's where we're starting. I want you to write that down.
The first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself. And one of the most important weapons in changing yourself is to recognize that people everywhere in the world want peace. But humility is one of the most important qualities which you must have. Because if you are humble, if you make people realize that you are no threat to them, then people will embrace you.
Wat we doen.
Als je vanaf morgen je leven opnieuw zou mogen indelen, hoe zou het er dan uitzien? Wat zou je anders willen? Wat zou je anders willen doen met je tijd? De tijd tikt. Je toekomst wordt elke dag korter. Dit leven heeft een deadline. Waarom leef je niet het leven van je dromen? Omdat je denkt dat het niet kan? Omdat je bang bent wat anderen ervan zullen vinden? Of omdat je niet weet hoe? Ik leef mijn leven op basis van mijn eigen regels. Natuurlijk houd ik rekening met anderen. Ik zorg voor mensen om me heen en ik help veel mensen. Maar ik sta in het middelpunt van mijn bestaan. Als je dat niet doet, ben je altijd uit balans. Dan raak je het overzicht kwijt. Dat leidt tot onrust, onzekerheid, twijfel en angst. Het gebeurt allemaal hier in je hoofd. Het zijn je gedachten. Master your mindset. Leer jezelf beter te begrijpen. Dan zal je anderen ook beter kunnen begrijpen. Ontdek de kracht van je gedachten. Je ziet wat er gebeurt in de wereld. We denken allemaal anders. Iedereen heeft een andere mening, maar één ding hebben we met elkaar gemeen. We zijn allemaal overtuigd van onze eigen gedachten. En die gedachten bepalen jouw werkelijkheid.
Many people, because they're not making a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to think outside of what life has thrown at them, they end up doing the same thing over and over and over again. Einstein said that thinking that has brought me this far has created some problems that this thinking can't solve. And so through relationships, through reading, through studies, through goals and dreams beyond your comfort zone, It allows you to begin to live out of your imagination as opposed to out of your history. Disney said, the imagination is a preview of what's to come. They have to expose themselves to something that will give them a different vision of themselves. And in addition to that, they have to put themselves in a community of what I call OQP, only quality people.
We live in an abundant universe. You want to design and with. How do I have both? How do I develop forward-pulling relationships with amazing people who are navigating and walking in the same direction as me while I stay anchored in my existing relationships that are non-negotiable? No matter where you go, you're still always someone's daughter. You're still always someone's niece, someone's son, someone's father, someone's brother, someone's sister. So make sure you nurture your existing relationships while developing future relationships.
A gentleman who dramatically transformed my life, I was a junior at Booker T. Washington High School in Miami, Florida, and he taught me 3 things. He said, if you want to become successful in life, young man, he said, number 1, you got to change your mindset. He said, you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. Number 2, practice OQP, only quality people. You earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. I found that out. I left all my broke friends. I said, y'all gotta go. Because I used to be so broke, I'd pass a bank and trip the alarm, you know? And the 3rd thing he said, develop your communication skills, because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. He said, those are 3 major things that you want to work on that will liberate you from living in Liberty City, living in poverty in Overtown. It will help to escape out of where you are right now.
Wat we doen.
Als je denkt, met mij gaat het even niet goed. Wie heeft je dat wijsgemaakt? Waar geloof je in? In jezelf? Of in de sprookjes die anderen jou hebben proberen te doen geloven?
De kinderen zijn de toekomst, dat zeggen we. Maar soms hebben we ook een kind van binnen die ook nog moet leren jubelen. Omdat die gestopt is om blij te zijn, te springen in de regen, te baggen, te schreeuwen, te huilen en zichzelf te zijn. Omdat die maatschappij dat die vereist. Want we hebben allemaal een kind in ons. En als we dat kind weer blij zouden krijgen, we zouden durven te zijn wie we daadwerkelijk zijn, things would be different. Dus als jij kinderen hebt, een nichtje, een neefje, zelf kinderen hebt, ga weer kinderliedjes met ze zingen. Ga spelletjes met ze spelen. Ga dingen met ze doen. Laat me een voorbeeld geven. Mijn dochter was laatstjarig en haar keus was voor haar jaardag spelletjes met de familie spelen. Iedereen wilde een groot feest halen, laten we iets leuks gaan doen. Nee, ik wil spelletjes spelen met het gezin. 2 dagen voor haar jaardag hebben we een aantal spelletjes gespeeld op het balkon met het gezin. We zijn met z'n 4. En we had fun. Ik ben uitgelachen, ik ben boos geworden, ik ben ongeduldig geworden. En zij allemaal lachen. Ze hadden ook een moment van, ik speel dit niet meer, ander game. But we had fun. We had fun. En soms in ons leven willen we die fun buiten zoeken. Willen we kijken, wat gaat die maatschappij me bieden? Wat gaat die regering me geven? Wat gaan de buren me geven? Wat gaat mijn partner me geven? Maar we zijn niet genoeg bezig met het kind van binnen blij maken. Doe weer dingen om het kind van binnen jou blij te maken. Doe weer dingen om het kind weer te laten jubelen, te laten zingen, te laten bewegen, te laten huilen wanneer ze moeten. En het oké te vinden dat zij het zijn. Wanneer je bezig bent met jouw kinderen, jouw zusters kinderen, de buurkinderen, respecteer hun emoties. Because if you learn them to control their emotions, they can control life. Want dat hebben wij ook nodig. En als je dat kind in jou wil stimuleren, want in een opgolon tapis jij je want buurman heeft belsko to dadelijk LPE teki wel een probleem, omdat de man ook winting, wat moet kunnen, ga met kinderen spelen. Ga met je nichtjes en neefjes spelen, ga met je kinderen spelen, doe een spel, zing kinderliedjes en zing ze uitbundig, zodat het kind weer kan bruisen van binnen, dat je die man en die vrouw kan zijn die we nodig hebben. En omdat je dit nu weet, breng je kinderen naar bed. Doe het met je eigen kinderen. Doe het met de kinderen in je omgeving. Dat we kunnen stimuleren dat het oké is om kind te zijn. Dat het oké is dat ze boos zijn. Ik zie dat je boos bent, maar we moeten het wel anders doen. Anders gaat het niet werken. Because we have to form them, right? Maar laten we het kind niet kapot slaan, doodmaken. Want dat kind hebben we nodig om ons verder te brengen in ons leven. Yes? If you have something to share, deel met ons dat we allemaal kunnen leren. Hoe we het kunnen blij maken. Dat we die maatschappij beter kunnen hebben. Dat we sterker kunnen zijn en dingen aan kunnen als natie.
We are searchlights we can see in the dark. We are rockets pointed up at the stars. We are billions of beautiful hearts. And you sold us down the river too far. What about us? What about all the times you said you had the answers? What about us? What about all the broken happy ever afters? What about us? What about all the plans that ended in disaster? What about love? What about trust? What about us? We are problems that want to be solved. We are children that need to be loved. We were willing, we came when you called. But man, you fooled us. Enough is enough. Oh, what about us? What about all the times you said you had the answer? What about us? What about all the broken happy ever afters? Oh, what about us? What about all the plans that ended in disaster? Oh, what about love? What about trust? What about us? What about us? What about all the plans that ended in disaster? What about love? What about trust? What about us? Sticks and stones, they may break these bones, but then I'll be ready. Are you ready? It's the start of us waking up. Come on, are you ready? I'll be ready. I don't want control, I want to let go. Are you ready? I'll be ready. 'Cause now it's time to let them know you're ready. What about us? What about all the times you said you had the answer? So what about us? What about all the broken happy ever afters? Hey, what about us? What about all the plans that ended in disaster? Hey, what about love? What about trust? What about us? 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 What about us?
Let me tell you, we have something in our African community. something that is very difficult to put into English. It is called Ubuntu. Ubuntu. Ubuntu is the essence of being human. And it says, a solitary human being is a contradiction in terms. I can't be a human being on my lonesome. I wouldn't know how to speak as a human being. I wouldn't know how to think as a human being. I wouldn't know how to walk as a human being. I have to learn from other human beings how to be human. And so Ubuntu says, my humanity is bound up in yours. I am only because you are. And we then say, a person is a person through other persons. And that we need this communal harmony if we're going to survive at all. And anger and revenge and bitterness are corrosive of this harmony. And you know it. You've experienced how when you are really angry with someone, it does something to your tum-tum. It does something to your blood pressure. So forgiving is actually not being altruistic. You're not being nice to the other guy. When you forgive, you're actually being nice to yourself. Forgiving, apart from anything else, is good for your health.
Wat We Doen.
Sometimes there is no next time, no second chances. Sometimes it's now or never. Things change, friends leave, and life doesn't stop for anybody. You have to train your mind to be stronger than your emotions, or else you'll lose yourself every time.
The fact that as a dad, for example, you are no longer just seen as a material provider, but you actually are seen also as an emotional provider. It is the greatest gift that's been given to men. You know, that you don't just get your value from your dough, that you get your value from your presence, and that your force is not the fact that you were gone all the time, because that meant that you were working really hard, but in fact that you can be there, and that gives her the possibility to do other things as well. But all these shifting roles and the value that we assign to these roles is some of the great changes that you're part of at this point. So you're asking me, how can you be assertive? It's actually not so much how do you maintain yourself as how do you do both and. How do you hold your ground and let somebody else in? How do you take in input and not feel that that means you're weak? How do you let other people give you ideas? How do you ask for help without thinking that that lessens your sense of dominance and power and leadership and all of that stuff? I think the answer is simply not an either or. It's either forceful or dominant or weak, but that you can actually allow for a more open boundary, if you want, in terms of what you let in, and at the same time maintain that groundedness. Assertiveness is actually confidence, and aggressiveness is actually defensive. I attack in order to protect myself. Is not the same as I know what I want and I'm ready to listen to what you have to say, and let's see how we negotiate that. So, assertiveness is a dialogue. Aggressiveness is a debate. So if you want to be assertive, the first step for you is to welcome dialogue, and you will discover a power you have not known till now.
Het leven is vrij eenvoudig en hou het ook zo eenvoudig mogelijk. Maak het vooral niet ingewikkeld. Wat je moet weten is, waar wil ik naartoe? Wat is de bestemming? Het doel. Waar wil ik zijn? Erg belangrijk dat je weet waar je naartoe wilt. Hoe je er komt is nu nog niet van belang. Het is niet van belang hoe je er komt, het is wel van belang dat je weet waar je naartoe wilt. Vervolgens is het heel erg belangrijk dat je weet waar je staat. Je moet weten waar je nu staat. En vaak gaat het daar mis. Verkeerd zelfbeeld. We weten niet goed waar we staan. We weten wel waar we naartoe willen, maar niet waar we staan. Die twee zijn van belang. En als je weet waar je staat en je weet waar je naartoe wilt, is de enige vraag die je hoeft op te lossen: wat houdt je tegen? Wat staat er tussen jou en je doel in? Maak dat helder, los het op en de weg ligt voor je open. Ik hoor zo vaak, ik heb te weinig tijd. Wat zou je doen als je meer tijd zou hebben? Maar het blijft een illusie, want er is niet meer tijd. Wij hebben allemaal 24 uur in een dag. Meer tijd is er niet. Probeer ook niet tijd te sparen om het aan het einde van de dag eraan te plakken. Er is niet meer tijd. En tijd is niet te koop. En wij denken, en ik hoor het vaak in onze moderne maatschappij, waarin het zo druk is, dat we steeds minder tijd hebben. En laatst las ik een boek. Wat geschreven werd rondom het jaar 0 door Seneca, Romeinse filosoof. Leefde rond de jaartelling. En die schreef The Shortness of Time. En hij schreef, moet je nagaan, 2000 jaar geleden, dat mensen het gevoel hadden dat ze te weinig tijd hadden. 2000 jaar geleden hadden ze ook al dat gevoel van te weinig tijd. En hij schreef, we hebben niet te weinig tijd, maar we weten niet wat we moeten doen met onze tijd. En daarom verspillen we zoveel tijd. Het leven is lang genoeg, als je weet hoe je er een zinvolle invulling aan moet geven. En dan komt de vraag, maar wat is zinvol? En Gandalf zei in The Lord of the Rings, boek van Tolkien, begin vorige eeuw, prachtige tekst. Het enige wat wij moeten doen, is beslissen wat we doen met de tijd die ons is gegeven. Het enige wat we moeten doen, is beslissen, de keuze maken wat je doet met de tijd die je hebt. En een mooie oefening is om aan het eind van de week op te schrijven wat je hebt gedaan. Ik doe dat elke week. Weekly report, die moet ik naar mijn mentor sturen. Vanavond weer, zondagavond voor 12 uur. Doe dat niet en je krijgt strafwerk. Weekly report voor jezelf. Kijk maar eens terug. Inzicht, zelfbewustzijn. Wat heb ik de afgelopen week allemaal gedaan? Maak het niet te ingewikkeld, houd het simpel. Schrijf het op. Wat heb ik gedaan deze week? En waaraan heb ik tijd besteed wat ik niet had hoeven doen? Ja, ik ben naar die verjaardag gegaan, want ik had er eigenlijk geen zin in. Maar ja, ik durf eigenlijk geen nee te zeggen. Ik roep herkenbare dingen, dan hoeven jullie het straks niet te doen. Ja, het is zo vervelend, weet je, het is toch een goede vriendin. Oh ja, is dat zo? Nou ja, we zijn al heel lang vrienden. Oh, is dat zo? Nou ja, wel, ja, we kennen elkaar al heel lang. Maar zijn jullie nog goede vrienden? Nou, nee, eigenlijk niet. Dat waren we ooit, 20 jaar geleden. We zijn een beetje uit elkaar gegroeid. Maar ja, we gaan maar met elkaar om, omdat het zo is. Net zoals dat ik elke dag opsta. Omdat ik anders niet weet wat ik moet doen. Nou, blijven liggen, ja, is ook zo wat. Dus ik sta maar op. Maar eigenlijk weet ik niet waarom. Als je gaat leven op die automatische piloot, zonder dat je weet wat je aan het doen bent, is de rest van je leven eigenlijk zinloos. En dan komt er een belangrijke vraag waar je vanmiddag en de rest van je leven over na moet denken. Elke ochtend. Wat ga ik doen met de rest van mijn leven? Dat is een mooie vraag. Wat ga ik doen met de rest van mijn leven? En ik kom weer terug bij de vraag, wat wil je echt? Wat wil je echt?
I want my life, I want my work, my family, I want it to mean something. And it's like, it has, if you are not making someone else's life better, then you're wasting your time.
The separation of talent and skill is one of the greatest misunderstood concepts for people who are trying to excel, who have dreams, that want to do things. Talent you have naturally. Skill is only developed by hours and hours and hours of beating on your craft.
You don't try to build a wall. You don't set out to build a wall. You don't say, I'm going to build the biggest, baddest, greatest wall that's ever been built. You don't start there. You say, I'm going to lay this brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid. There will not be one brick on the face of the earth that's going to be laid better than this brick that I'm going to lay in this next 10 minutes. And you do that every single day.
And soon you have a wall.
And soon you have a wall. And I think psychologically, the advantage that gives me over a lot of people that I have been in competition with in different situations is it's difficult to take the first step when you look how big the task is.
Ik vraag mezelf af wat jou tegenhoudt. Ik vraag mezelf af waar jij bang voor bent. Durf je het niet? Heb je geen motivatie? Zit het allemaal niet mee? Ik denk dat jij bang bent voor anderen, wat zij van jou gaan denken. Niemand die wil jou iets gunnen. Dat is wat jij ziet. Zeg mij, wat houdt jou tegen? Zeg maar alleen, wat houdt jou tegen? Het enige wat jou tegenhoudt, is jijzelf. Jij bent zelf degene die jou tegenhoudt. Jij moet stoppen met het medelijden hebben voor jezelf. Het enige wat ik alleen maar hoor is, ja, maar het lukt mij niet. Ja, maar ik kan het niet. Ja, ik heb pech. Ja, ik heb dit. Ja, ik heb alleen maar smoesjes. Jij moet stoppen met zielig doen. Je bent een doorzetter. Je moet in jezelf geloven. Kleine stapjes. Wij hebben allemaal wel een ups en downs en we vallen allemaal. Er is niemand in dit leven die alleen maar omhoog blijft gaan. Blijf ten alle tijden doelen voor jezelf stellen. Want stel jij weer doelen, dan ga je toch weer het maximaal proberen te halen uit jezelf. Sta op en probeer wat van je leven te maken. Sta op en probeer wat van je leven te maken. Want jij bent meer waard. Wanneer jij goed bezig bent, gaan er van alle kanten heel veel positieve dingen op je pad komen. Geloof in jezelf, want als jij niet in jezelf gelooft, wie gaat er dan in jou geloven? Wanneer je opstaat, wil je niet in de spiegel kijken en denken van, ja, ik ben een verliezer. Nee, kijk in die spiegel. En diezelfde spiegel gaat jou vertellen dat jij een kanjer bent. Jij bent een topper. Jij bent geen opgever en jij bent een doorzetter. Sta op. Oké, de eerste stap heb je gezet. Het wil niet zeggen dat je nu op een gegeven moment bent opgestaan, dat het nu gelijk succes gaat boeken, maar naarmate de tijd, als jij doorzettingsvermogen hebt en je blijft doorgaan, dan ga je komen waar je wilt komen. Dus wanneer jij opstaat en je trekt je kleding aan, denk dan van oké, vandaag moet ik iets bereiken. En het maakt niet uit hoe vaak je ook zult vallen, als jij ten alle tijde blijft opstaan, dan kom je er wel. Volg je dromen. Jij bent geen verliezer. Het is belangrijk dat wanneer je valt, dat je dan weer opstaat. Want blijf je liggen, dan kom je nergens. Want geloof in jezelf.
release your job, release the time, release your trade, release the stress, release your love, forget the rest. I'm gonna down my head, cause I lost my mind. B is back and I'm sleeping real good at night. The queens in the front and the doms in the back. Ain't taking no flicks, but the whole click snap. There's a whole lot of people in the house trying to smoke with the yak in your mouth. And we back outside. You said you outside, but you ain't that outside. Worldwide hoodie with the mask outside. In case you forgot how we act outside. And motivation. I found me a new foundation, yeah. Taking my new salvation. And I'ma build my own foundation, yeah. Oh, baby, baby, you won't break my soul. 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 And I'm telling everybody, yeah. You don't seek it, you won't see it, that we all know. Can't break my soul. If you don't think it, you won't be it, that love ain't yours. Can't break my soul. Trying to fake it never makes it, that we all know. Can't break my soul. Can have the stress and I'll take less, I'll justify love. We go round in circles, searching for love. We go up and down, lost and found, searching for love. Looking for something that lives inside me. For something that lives inside me. You won't break my soul. 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 Telling everybody, telling everybody, everybody. You won't break my soul. You won't break my soul. No, no. You won't break my soul. You won't break my soul. And I'm telling everybody, everybody, taking my own salvation. And I'm building my own foundation, yeah. I done found me a new foundation, yeah. I'm taking my new salvation, and I'ma build my own foundation, yeah.
Wat we doen.
Vergeving is een van de manieren om vrij te komen van niet-functionele energie. Vergeving. En op de eerste plaats moet je jezelf vergeven. Vergeef jezelf voor al de lelijke dingen die je tegen jezelf zegt, want dat doen we elke dag. Vergeef jezelf. En vergeef dan de andere die je volgens jou pijn heeft gedaan. En weet je wat? Vergeving hoeft niet altijd ten overstaan van de persoon. Soms kan je jouw eigen energie zitten en zeggen: ik vergeef jou, met de naam erachter. Op een ander niveau die energie sturen, zodat het uit jouw systeem gaat. Vergeving is niet voor de ander, maar is voor jezelf. Yes? Just do that.
The greatest tragedy in life is not death. Some people think that when someone dies, that's the worst thing that can happen to you. That's not true. I discovered that the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but it's life without a purpose. It is more tragic to be alive and not know why than to be dead and not know life. Because when you are alive, you got to explain what you're doing with your hours, with your minutes, with your energy, with your talents, with your time. You got to explain, why am I here and what did I do last week with my life? Most people are living as an experiment. Is your life as short as the next bill you pay? Is there a sense of destiny in your life? God sent me here to talk to you, to let you know that you are not just here as a passing fantasy. You came to this planet because something that you need to do is still undone. You were created to live life with meaning and purpose. You are not a mistake. As a matter of fact, until you discover your personal reason for living, you will never be fulfilled. You were born, sir, to do something important in this world. That's why I am convinced that all of us were created for a purpose, equipped with potential, and designed for a destiny. I am convinced that you are loaded with stuff that we haven't seen yet, and is trapped under your fear of people. As a matter of fact, some of your greatest graveyards are your jobs. Nothing can bury you faster than a career that you're trapped in. You were born to do something that the world needs, and that's why until you discover your purpose, you can never maximize your potential. Your purpose, madam, is the most important thing for you to discover. Because when you find your purpose, you automatically find your potential. And when you find your purpose and potential, you become unstoppable. No human opinion can touch you when you discover your purpose in life.
Wat We Doen.
Yeah. It's a lot of food for thought getting thrown at you. Take it in and chew on it. Als je wil weten wie de sprekers zijn, ik zou zeggen, kijk naar onze YouTube-channel. Vanaf morgenochtend is deze editie online. En dan zie je de namen van de sprekers die je vanavond in de editie Motivation hoort van Wat We Doen. Stay tuned in and absorb.
What I would say to people is we all grew up and experienced at varying degrees trauma, disappointment, hard stuff. We armored up, and at some point, that armor no longer serves us. And so what I think I would say to that person is, how is not talking about this serving you? And now the weight of the armor is too heavy, and it's not protecting you, it's keeping you from being seen and known by others. And so this is, just tell you quintessentially, this is the developmental milestone of midlife. From late 30s through probably your 60s, this is the question. This is when the universe comes down and puts her hands on your shoulders and pulls you close and whispers in your ear, I'm not fucking around. You're halfway to dead. The armor is keeping you from growing into the gifts I've given you. That is not without penalty. Time is up. So this is what you see happen to people in midlife. And it's not a crisis. It's a slow, brutal unraveling. And this is where everything that we thought protected us keeps us from being the partners, the parents, the professionals, the people that we want to be. And I've only seen, this is a fork in the road. I've only seen two responses to this visit from the universe. Well, there was my response, which I was like, screw you, bring it. Like, you think you can best me? And then it was just one nightmare situation after another until, you're not going to win that fight. I think if you say, you know what, I'm not going to do it, then you've got to double down. These are the people that walk through the world, double down on their own shit, in denial, cheek squeezed as they walk, and cause so much pain in the world. Because it is so much easier to offload pain than to feel pain. And so you really have a choice in midlife. I'm not saying just pull off all the armor and streak through Austin, because I think you can replace the armor with something. I think it's curiosity is what you replace it. You just become very curious about yourself, about the world. Why did I react that way? Curiosity is really the superpower for the second half of our lives, because it keeps us learning, it keeps us asking questions, and it increases our self-awareness.
Listen to me. It's not, what makes it hard is your lack of belief that it can happen for you. The fact of it is, though, it's very doable. See, but you got to change, though. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. So if you're at a place in your life and you ain't happy with it, you have to change some things. But you have to make a conscientious decision that you're going to change. And it's not dependent on anybody else. It don't matter what your mama think. It don't matter what your coworkers think. It don't matter what your siblings think. It don't matter what your children think. It don't matter. They have nothing to do with it. This decision is yours and yours alone. Let me tell you something. You get to decide if I'm gonna be rich, poor, mediocre, plentiful, happy, sad. You have a decision to make.
Wat we doen.
Het is belangrijk om een doel te hebben. En al zijn het korte doelen, maar om een doel te hebben, dan krijg je een drijfveer en dan krijg je een bedrijf. En dan krijg je bedrijvigheid, dan krijg je productiviteit en dan krijg je vruchten. Suriname is ik, Suriname ben jij, Suriname zijn wij. Totdat we dat doorhebben, dan pas gaat die vadersliefde. En we moeten niet blijven zitten met ja, maar de regering doet dit, de regering. Nee, de regering doet wat ze doen, maar je bent je eigen regering. Je eigen zelfdenken, je eigen zelfontdekking. En hoe kom je daarachter? Ga gewoon googlen. Ga googlen wie Bonnie was. Bofikili Bonnie, wie was hij? Weet je, wie was Jan Adin? Waarom was hij zo belangrijk voor ons? En wat hebben al deze mensen en wie zijn die Jan Adins nu? Laten we die alle kondre die we hebben goed analyseren. In financiën, in businessmodellen, in gewoon power groepong. Weet je, hoe we thuis omgaan met elkaar. We hebben nu uitgevonden, er is olie in het land. Oké, leuk. We gaan juichen, maar wat doen we eraan? Gaan we weer zitten, net alonki condansi. En dan komen die anderen allemaal raven, want dit is Eldorado. Dus de erkentenis en de waardering, dat is dat ding. En dan heb je waarde voor jezelf. Als je iets doet, doe het goed. En als je een prijs erop zegt en ze zeggen, we hebben de prijs niet zegt, dan belt hij me op als hij dat geld wel heeft. Het zit niet alleen op vormgeving, maar inhoud. Wat zeg je precies en wat is je intentie als je het zegt? Sani. Kijk niet naar mensen hun tuintje, maar kijk naar je eigen tuintje. Wat plant je? Wat doe je? Wat is met jou bezig? En als we allemaal onze mooie tuintjes hebben, nou, dan ziet ons groot tuintje er heerlijk uit.
I hated oppression. And when I think about the past, the type of things they did, I feel angry. You have a limited time to stay on earth. You must try and use that period for the purpose of transforming your country into what you desire it to be. And therefore, you had to reject all negative features in your own soul, in your blood system, and focus your attention on the positive things.
Chronics. Dancing, them see the performance. Enough people see me life and want one. But them no know say more time it look dormant. And them no see say I'm me belly me a crawl pan. Cause my mama just called me with tears in her eyes. She never know me have a stage show tonight. Not even she see the fears in my eyes. But me just a go and put on the show. Cause they don't know, yeah. They don't know, but they see me smile, but they don't know what I feel inside. Only you know, only I know, Jah. They see me smile, but they don't know what I feel. in at the boiling sun, putting it on the street. Righteous music, me putting it on the beat. But nothing no righteous about how life set. If you no know hard life, then you no know life yet. Because my papa just call me poverty, make him a screw. Him never know, say me have an interview. But me still have to put on the show because they don't know. I said they don't know, yeah. They don't know. They see me smile, but they don't know what I feel inside. Only you know, chronics. Only you know, yeah, yeah. They see you smile, boy, but they don't know what you feel inside. Yes, so long me make me ball, long me make me cry, cause they don't know what I feel inside. Long me make me ball, leave me what I feel. Yes, oh, and I say long me make me ball, long me make me cry, cause only I know, yes, Jah, yes. Only I know. Them say Chronics come on the stage, show and done it. Him and him bandsman friend them bunny. But them never know say I one shirt. Me have to wash it and me have to sun it. Them say me take the stage up. Them say me lyrics them a flow. But them never know say we have to work hard in a 6 feet of snow. They don't know. They don't know. They see me smile, but they don't know what I feel inside. They don't see it, son. Only you know. Yes, boy. Only you know. They see you smile.
The hardest worker in the room is always going to be the talented guy who doesn't work hard. In the end, maybe not every time, but in the end, hard work always wins. Talent doesn't guarantee you anything in this world. A good education doesn't guarantee you anything in this world. The world is riddled with smart people who have never achieved anything of significance. This world is full of talented individuals that never made it. The world is full of expensively educated kids that are outperformed by high school dropouts.
Talent won't get you anywhere if you don't work for it. Talent won't get you anywhere if you have no heart. Talent is nothing if you have no guts. The one who is hungrier to reach the top will always get there before the talented guy. Maybe not immediately, but in the end, hungry always wins. In the end, hard work always wins. In the end, heart wins. Courage wins. In the end, the one who is more dedicated to reach the top will win.
Wat We Doen.
So every morning I wake up, I believe in winning the battle against yourself. People say, why do you say that? Because there's a lot of things you can control. When you wake up, I talk about making your bed. Make your bed, make sure your house is clean, make sure you get your breakfast, make sure you shower, shave, whatever you're doing, control that. Don't hit the snooze button. All these things are very important. That's been told a lot of times. Why don't you hit the snooze button? Because you wake up already failing. You're already behind the power curve. So what happens when you hit the snooze button? You may not make your bed. You may not do your hair the way you want it. You may not pick the right clothes out in the morning time. And I go back to this real quick. Remember how you had a job interview for a job? We've had several of them in our lives. What did you do the night before that job, weeks before the job interview, when you knew you had it? You prepared you had a bowl out for your oatmeal, your cereal, whatever you had in the morning time. Your coffee cup was out. Your clothes were laid out. You studied, you rehearsed, you were ready. You brought your best self. You were going to war with yourself because you wanted that interviewer to see your best self. You won. You got the job. After a few months in that job, you look around. I got the job. You start to back off. The clothes aren't out. You're not ready. You hit the snooze button. You don't get up on time anymore. You realize that you can still have this job and not be your best self. The interview you is gone. Your job is gone. You have your job, but the interview is gone. So winning the battle in the morning time is just that. It's that you wake up in the morning time and you own all this stuff, because once you leave your house, the world then gets at you. And that's why I believe in not getting up in the morning time and checking your phone immediately. Everybody does that. They get up, the first thing they do is grab their phone, look at the phone. Maybe bad news on there. So how's your day start off? I don't go to the gym. I don't make my bed. You're caught up now on that phone. That's how your day starts. You lost control. So once you win that battle in the morning time, then once you go out, now you've won. You go outside your house, you may lose your job, you may have a bad hit, but you won something. So you're going into battle having already won something. Having already won. So then if you hit the snooze button, you go out, you just defeated already. You're behind the power curve. Now you've won something. You feel better about yourself. So now you're able to take these hits along the way. So that's the mindset that I think it's important to bring with you every day you go, everywhere you go in life.
Tracking my roots, where I came from and where I'm going.
There are a lot of people doing amazing stuff in the world, but there's a lot of people who are not. And there are a lot of people who choose silence in times when they should not. There are a lot of people who choose inaction. And I always ask myself, will I be proud of my silence when I walk out of the room, or will my inaction convict me? So this is not necessarily about everybody, helping somebody else get a new house of worship. I think when we think about courage and troublemaking, it's especially in the small moments, right? In the tedious moments when we might not think it matters that much. Because if you don't do it in the tedious moments, in the small, tiny moments where you're being asked to, what practice and what muscle do you have to do it in the major moments when now it's presented to you? So in the rooms that we are in, even if it's saying, hey, let's rethink that, or hey, let's do something else, because that messaging is not as thoughtful as we want it to be. Or literally asking a friend, hey, you've hurt my feelings, can we have a conversation about this? I think those matter just as much as the big moments when you're like, oh my God, I have to challenge a system. So we have to do our part every single day in the spaces that we are in. I'm not asking everybody to become Superman. I'm not saying save Gotham, but if you can save the room that you're in, if you can give somebody $2 who doesn't have it, if you can make sure the intern's voice is heard in the meeting, that's absolutely part of what shifts the world. There's all types of domino effects that come from us taking action in those small moments. So I'm definitely not discounting those moments. It's why troublemakers are not haters, they're not contrarians, they're not trolls. They're not doing the thing that feels tough just because they want to make somebody uncomfortable. They're doing it because they realize this is necessary for the better world that we want, or for the better work that you want to create. So when you have those people in the room, the people who can tell you no, one, they're looking out for you, and they are making sure that you are showing up in the best way possible. It is in your best interest for your friends to be able to tell you no, right? Like, they'll keep you from a lot of pain that you might have to deal with if they're not telling you. And Tony's story is absolutely one of those big ones. When you hear any stories around, public figures who fell into some sort of rabbit hole of like addiction, or there's usually enablers. They usually have enablers. But I'm always like, who was the person who was like, I'm going to try to help them, even though it might cost me the friendship, even though it might cost me the payroll, right? So I just do think, and those of us who are privileged, and I'm not even asking the people who are just on survival mode to do this. Actually, we got to use our power so the people who are living paycheck to paycheck are not the ones putting their job on the line. So the people who have no home are not the ones who are saying and do the right things. Those of us who, during COVID, were never worried about how we were going to pay our rent. We're never worried about where our next meal was coming from. We're feeling physically safe in our homes. We've got to be the ones using our power and our voice and our access for good.
We were just sitting back, chopping it up, reminiscing about the good old days and all that. Tracking my roots, where I came from and where I'm going. But like I say, man, always said it. It's not about the destination. No. It's all about the journey. It's all about the journey, baby. Ain't nothing changed but the weather.
The dangling carrot that hang from the rear view. Your dreams in the past ain't nowhere near you. Backseat drivers got nothing but 2 cents. Shotgun riders too biased, they all liars. I should get an A for effort, I'm too tired. But I'm never giving up, that's why I'm kinda admired. Role model, like it or not, I gotta play it. Sugarcoat the rhyme sometimes, but still say it. Said I was quitting at 40 is just a fib. I'm still a kid that's wiping the food off of my bib. You ever wanted something so bad that you could taste it? Cried over every opportunity wasted. Good and bad news, which one you want first? Either way you pick, the bad still gon' hurt you the worst. I never got to bask in the fruits of the labor, and I never got the cash from that dude from the label. I'm just thinking back. Can we go way back, way back, way back? Can we go way back, way back, way back? It's time to go.
The biggest poison in us is regret.
I think there are a lot of people that have dreams and aspirations of things that they always wanted to do, but it wasn't the right time, or they didn't have enough money, or they didn't have enough experience. It's never the right time. You're never gonna have the right experience. And all of a sudden you wake up and you're 70. And you're like, God, I wish I could have done it.
It's what you don't do that screws with you later on.
I get one shot at this life. This is it. And I don't want to go through life being the 80% version of me. I don't want to look back and be like 77 and be like, I didn't do that. There's so much I want to do, and I love life so much, I don't want to miss it.
We zitten in het laatste kwartaal van het jaar en ik kan je zeggen, het laatste kwartaal van het jaar hoeft niet hetzelfde te zijn als de 3 eerste. You can change it. You can do things differently. En één manier om wat te doen is om meer waarde toe te voegen aan jou. Meer waarde, meer skills, meer inzichten, meer lezen, meer informatie. Zodat jij waardevoller wordt en die laatste 3 maanden totaal anders kan invullen dan de vorige 9. Lobby, just do that.
Dat was de welbekende Marvin Polak als afsluiter. Bedankt voor het luisteren. Bedankt voor je tijd, je waardevolle energie en bedankt voor die verbinding. Check ons op YouTube en Facebook. En zoals Zig Ziglar zei, natuurlijk is motivatie niet blijvend, maar dat is schoon zijn na het douchen ook niet. Het is iets waar je met regelmaat voor moet zorgen. Tot volgende keer. Ciao, ciao.
Je bent wat je doet. Niet wat je denkt dat je zou moeten doen. Wat we doen. Een radioprogramma dat ingaat op onze drijfveren en het bespreken van taboes. Hoe zou het komen dat we doen wat we doen? Elke vrijdag van 8 tot 9 uur 's avonds met je host Sulile Blinker op de Powerstation SRS. Kom gezellig erbij en laat je inspireren.